Good morning, guys. It is Sunday, March 1st, 2015. I don't know what it is about the first day of the month or the first day of the week that just kind of gets me excited about where I am and what I hope to accomplish. So, I've been promising or been threatening to do podcasts, and I really love doing these. And I try to reserve them for when I really have something to say so that I'm not just doing them all the time and then they become diluted and there's no passion and there's no fire behind them. So if I'm ever sort of lagging in your eyes on content, just know that I try to just wait until I really have something awesome to say, or if I feel like I really want to get something off my chest. Otherwise, I still answer all your questions on my Ask FM, ask.fm /Myleik Teele. I've answered thousands of questions. So even if you don't want to ask me anything, I've probably answered a version of your question already. You could scroll through. Today, I just wanted to do a 2015 goal check-in. It's March 1st. We're just about close to finishing up our fourth quarter. So I want to talk to you about what you can be doing right now. I want to talk to you about what I'm doing and just see if we can all sort of work together to have a better year than we had last year and prepare to have an even better year in 2016, because that's what happens with these things is when we really start working on our goals and checking in and being accountable, we set ourselves up to just be better and better every year. So I guess I'm checking in as your sort of accountability partner right now. The first thing that I want us to do is just review your goals. I was talking to a friend the other day and I was just like, how are you doing on your goals for the year? And he's just like, what were my goals? And I'm like, what? How do I remember your goals and you don't even remember your goals? So, did you write your goals down? And I know some people did, and I know some people did not. And that was just a case in point. That was just last week. When you don't write them down, you forget them. So, since we've only had 2 months go by, if you haven't written your goals down, you still have time. I suggest go ahead and writing them down. And they don't have to be extensive. In my last podcast about getting about gearing up for your goals for the year, I said be specific. But if you haven't even written anything down, I will just take that task away from you and just say simply write them down. That way you can look at them daily. You can flip back through them. I know many of you have purchased the journal that I made to sort of accompany these podcasts, and that is a great place to start working on your goals. And just an update on those are I should have those next week. So they were just with all the snow and ice that was happening between here, they're coming from Canada. So they should be here next week, and as soon as I get them, I'll get them out to you. So I've already gotten the packaging squared away for them. I will admit that I am somewhat nervous about them. I think I always am with anything I do. The feeling of something not being good enough, but you just have to do it anyway. And the best way to learn is to do. So I'm doing it. So that is a great place to kind of house your goals and just focus on what's the main thing. If it's, I know some of us have weight goals, some of us have, financial goals, and I'm going to talk about my goals and maybe help you organize your goals. So I like to break my goals up into personal, professional, financial, just three buckets. So if you're like, I don't really even know what I'm doing, just write out three buckets: personal goals, professional goals, financial goals. I'm going to share all of mine with you, just my top layer. I won't get too deep, but kind of let you know what I'm working on, let you know what I've accomplished, and then see where you are and see what you can do. And we'll check in again in a couple months and see what you managed to accomplish. Just remember, it's not too late. If you haven't done much, if you didn't set up to do this, it is not too late to start your goals for the year. Um, so my personal goals were that I definitely I wasn't going to take as many vacations as I did last year because I took an obnoxious amount of vacations. But I think I was just trying to catch up from all the years that I just never did anything. So I did a lot of travel last year. So much travel that my accountant felt the need to point out how much money I spent traveling last year, which is fine. Um, good to know. So I'm just trying to cut back on some of that. But I managed to sneak in a 2 day break to Miami last week, and that was my first break and vacation for the year, and that happened in February. So just 2 days in Miami. Didn't have the best experience. That we'll save that for another podcast. But I managed to get away and do something for me, and then I drove down to Fort Myers. I really like getting on the road and driving. I rented a little car and I drove about 2.5 hours. And I like doing stuff like that because it forces me not to be able to be on my phone, because now on plane rides you can surf Wi-Fi and it's just like you never left. So I get in the car, I have to focus on the road. I pop on some music or I try to listen to a podcast. I listen to serial podcasts. I'm all done with that. And so my assistant always talks about the read. So I listen to the read. It's very funny. And just something mindless to give my mind a break. You know, our minds need breaks to reset. So I know a lot of people do a lot of entertainment and watch TV watching and movie watching. I'm not that kind of person, so I kind of have to force myself to give my brain a break. Um, Also on my personal goals for last year and this year, we're just still dating. You know, making sure that I'm doing that, staying up with that. So I'm still seeing the same person that I started dating late last year, and that stuff still work. You know what I mean? I think that somewhere it's just, I talk about this all the time with social media. It's so easy to think that everybody's lives are perfect and everyone's relationships are perfect. And if they are, good for them. But the truth is that none of this stuff is perfect. It's always work, and it's always testing, you know, sort of stretching yourself. You know, coupling is hard. It always is, just because, you know, of how each person was raised. But it doesn't mean that you stop. It doesn't mean that you don't try. And one of the wonderful things that my therapy has helped me do, which was on my goal list for the last couple years, and it was still on there because I really wanted to get mentally healthy. Those were my goals for the past couple years. I wanted to be as healthy in my mind as I was with my body, and I think sometimes we neglect that. But the therapy is still helpful, and the therapy has helped me learn to communicate uh, in my relationships, which I was not able to do in the past. I was very much a cut you off kind of person. Like, okay, this is not working. You're not doing this, you know. And I'm just like, I'm ghost. But I've just learned to, when I'm dissatisfied with something, to to first sit with it and make sure that it's not something that is a result of my trauma, right? Because many of us have this personal trauma. Sit with it first before I react. Second, make sure that I don't act out, because I did that often. The cutting off, the blacking out, the screaming, the cutting up, the terrible text. Oh, I was the queen of that. Making sure that I'm just communicating my feelings. And if I'm not able to communicate, or I feel like I'm not being heard, to just say, okay, I still need some more time with it, and really figuring out how to articulate my thoughts in a way that I'm comfortable with. Because I find that when I take my time and I communicate properly, I don't have any regrets by what I said. So you notice when you try to argue or you get mad in the heat of the moment, someone does something to you, and then you clap back, and now when it was originally that person who was cutting up, it's now on you because of how you responded. Have you ever experienced that? I mean, I hate that. So I now find that when someone's doing something that is not good, and I don't clap back, but I sit with it and I really figure out a way to articulate my feelings and then match it up with action. So the action is, you know, something has to stop, and really being active about it, but just making sure that I communicate in a way that doesn't make me um, the assailant all over again. So, you know, it's like, I think that's the cycle of like arguing sometimes. If somebody does something to you, then you yell back, and now it's your fault because you were disrespectful. You get where I'm going. But I'm not doing that anymore. And I find that I just don't have as much regret, and it's just awesome. Um, Also, a personal goal of mine is I'm moving, so I want to move. That's on my plan. I want to move this summer. So I've already planted the seed in my mind. I've kind of sort of looked on the internet, but you know, it's one of those things where I talk about, you set the goal and then you just kind of, it's on my mind. I've looked up neighborhoods, and the next step will be to start, you know, the whole real estate madness. I didn't want to start any sooner than like April or May, because if I find something, I'm gonna move. That's kind of how I roll. Um, so that kind of stuff I'm working on. I think personal, I've had some like weight goals that I've been working on. So just getting stronger. I'm definitely doing that. Started yoga yesterday. I really want to work on flexibility and stretching, mindfulness. That's something that my therapist and I talk about. So I did my first beginner's course yesterday. And I've done it before and I just hated it. So I think it wasn't that bad and I'm going to try it again. So I'll let you know how I'm doing with that. So just think about a couple of personal goals that you can jot down. You've heard mine. Think about what you want to do. Next, my professional goals. Um, my professional goals is that I wanted to grow my business and I did. So I know I get a lot of like hate mail about the exclusivity of Curlbox. And that is not, it is not as much of a scheme as people think it is or a strategy. It really is just trying to grow at a pace that preserves the quality of the product and that's comfortable for everybody on the team. Um, too much too soon and you fall apart. So we did add a lot more members. December 2014, our list was open for 18 hours. So I have increased the membership um, tremendously, which was a goal of mine, and that's now done. And my hope is to do it again and again and again. So I'll let you know on that. I wanted some new offerings. Curlbox Body is done, believe it or not. So now it's just a function of getting getting it together and getting it wonderful. So that's great. And my assistant is helping on that. So she's growing, which is awesome. So this will be her first sort of project, hands-on project with me, besides just the assistant stuff, but her first kind of like big professional project with the company. She's excited about it and she killed it. She did a fantastic job. I needed to hire somebody. I needed to hire another full-time person, which I did. And I don't know if you know much about hiring people when it's your company and you sort of manage everybody. It just takes up more of your time because you've got to get them acclimated. Um, one of my biggest sort of lessons that I got when I started this company is that I used to really hate training people because I'm just like figure it out, and that bit me in the butt so many times. So taking the time to really train and really get hands-on, really dig into the work with them. So that takes up a lot of my time, and it's why I don't hire so fast because it takes a lot out of me. So did that. Started the new business. So I started the second company, mytachi.com, which is I'm excited about. Um, the journals are done. I can't even believe I did that because it was such a vulnerable thing. I know these podcasts I share so much, but something about writing things down was so hard. And I wrote stuff down, a little background on the journals. If you get one, I think that there's a lot of sentiment with the journals, more sentiment than anything. Just so you know, the journals are from the actual company that makes the journals that I used for the last like 5, 6, 7, 8 years. I was in the process of trying to find a place to make this special kind of journal that I wanted, and then it just hit me when my mom was here for Thanksgiving, and I was writing in the journal that I use that I buy these at Barnes and Noble, and something just said contact this company. So I shot them an email on Thanksgiving, and they wrote me back, and then the owner of the company called me while I was in New York, and I told him about my story and my company, and so he's really thrilled about it. They're actually doing a piece on their site on the journals and how I believe that I became successful just because I love the quality of these journals. I love the shape and size of the lines, and they allowed me to put some of my own verbiage in the front of these for you to show you how to use it, to show you how I use it, to tell you just a couple different things about like how I gave up giving up. And so that's done. We've got the fab coffee mugs coming, and I think that those are pretty cool. I like that. And so just some new offerings. I'm still pushing myself. The other thing is the speaking engagements. I only did a couple last year because I was ultra busy, and I've got I just checked my calendar and I've got 4. I'm going to be doing 4 speaking engagements in the first quarter of the year, which is insane. First 4 months, I'm going to be doing 4. So that's about one a month. And for me, I know for some people, my friends always wish that I would do more of that stuff, but I still have a like serious job. Like I have a tall task from, every single day. So to focus on the speaking, I can't do it as much or else it makes me nervous. I'll fall apart. And I always want to do a good job, so I can't do it too often. But I've got the TED Talk coming up, which I'm excited and I'm preparing for. I'm speaking in a couple different things. Candy Burris, Real Housewives of Atlanta, and a personal friend is doing a women's empowerment series. I'm speaking there. There's a Dream series here in Atlanta. I'm speaking there. And I'm speaking Tuesday at the Black Enterprise Women Empower Summit. I'm actually hosting a Walmart panel for 2 hours on Tuesday, 2:30 to 4. So if you'll be there, come say hello because I'll only be in town for the day. Next up, my financial goals. I am still very much a financial person, and I think I signed up on Mint.com. I had Mint, but I really wasn't using it, and so I just wiped out my old one, set up a new one, and I set it up to see all my money. So you can put all your bank accounts in there, and so I've obviously got a Curlbox checking account. I've got my Tachi checking account. I've got a money market account, which is like an intense savings. I have two accounts at Morgan Stanley, and so I just wanted to see the big picture. And then I have like a personal checking account. I forgot about that. Yes, I have all this crap going on. So I have about, I think, 6 or so bank accounts, and so I really wanted to just to have my eyes. I have an accountant and I have a wealth manager and all this crap, but I need to see what's going on. So I set that up. So I'm just working more on that and just really trying to flesh out my budget. I have a personal budget. I have a budget set by my accountant, and even my personal checking debit card can't spend more than $2,000 a day. So if I'm trying to be fancy and go shopping, like that's my limit, which for me is much needed. So I have a budget. I don't have any credit cards, which people are shocked to know. I don't have any business credit cards. I don't have any personal credit cards, but I am gonna have to get a business credit card. And when I say credit, I think there's debit and there's credit. I use debit, which means I just use the cash that I have. But I am gonna get a credit card because I need for my assistant. She's going to do some more work travel by herself this year. She's traveled with me, but she's going off on her own, which is exciting. So I've got to get her a credit card. So I've got to do that. So those are my financial goals. Finally getting a credit card. Finally focusing on my budget and 401k, that sort of deal. So those are my financial goals, and hopefully in a couple more months I'll have more to say. But like, I hope that based on what I just told you about what I'm doing, that you can kind of see what my pace is and sort of check your pace. And what have you been slacking on? What is something that you put down that you need to pick back up? And I was late starting on the yoga deal and the sort of the physical goals, but it's February and I finally got a class in, so I got to just do a little bit more of that. I may try to get another one in tonight. And what can you act on? It's like success is a series of decisions and actions. So what is something that you can act on today? If you tweet me at Myleik and let me know what is something that you did today to act on your goals. And it doesn't have to be big. It could be something really small, but I just want to know because I want you to see how baby steps add up. And then who's your accountability partner? Check in with them today. Schedule a call or just give them a call and see both of you talk to each other and see how you're doing on your goals. All of this stuff is helpful. I still do it with my friends. I had a really cool idea that I talked with my accountability partner about yesterday. And it's something that I can potentially do in July. I don't have a lot of time, but I think I'm going to try to do it. But we just talked about it and how we think it's a good idea and how it's something that if I just start really small, I don't have to go over the top. But if I start really small, it can grow. So I think that that's what I'm going to do. But I always love checking in with you. I am going to try to bust out some more podcasts. Always hit me up on my Ask FM, tweet me, Instagram me. Sorry, oh my goodness. And let me know, what else you want to talk about, because that's always helpful to do podcasts when I don't have the inspiration. I don't have anything sort of inspiring me to talk. So, hope you guys have a good Sunday, and I'll talk to you soon.